Could have called like Bob the Builder in to help him try and break that shoe. That was the funniest thing I have ever seen. I really want to know the brand of those shoes, man. It was just amazing.
Who makes those shoes? They were the most bedazzled heels. How is she walking? They were like 4-inch stiletto heels.
Yeah.
And she's walking around in them pregnant.
Listener discretion advised. Adult language and mature content.
Welcome back, everybody. It is Two Queens, One Screen. I'm Jen.
I'm Keeley.
And we are about to wrap up the finale, the reunions of 90 Day Fiancé Last Resort, Season 2. If you hear a very quiet screaming, it's because I have some new baby kittens in the office that we're fostering. I'm not going to keep them. We're already at capacity for cats, but I have some babies in here.
It's not either of our husbands, so it's an actual baby kitten.
Yeah, things that we need to discuss.
Just in
housekeeping.
case.
Just in case anyone was concerned.
Sure.
The screaming is not Steve.
No.
We are very excited to be able to do this podcast and have conversations. We love watching reality TV.
Yes.
We love talking about reality TV. And when we make this podcast, each episode that we go through, we are literally flying by the seat of our pants. We are throwing out whatever pops into our mind. It is a stream of consciousness. And I don't know if you've noticed, but my opinion changes daily on this. Keeley, you're pretty steadfast, but you've been swayed as well.
I have.
In different directions.
I have. You educate me quite often. I will admit to that. Yeah.
Oh my God, wow.
Ah.
And I think you have insight. And I think what's really great is that as we have put this on YouTube and TikTok and Facebook and Instagram and Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and I know that there's more, but we're starting to get people actually listening and watching, and we're getting feedback, and that has been really fun to have those discussions and talk with those people. But a few concerns have been raised, and I want to make it super clear that if you disagree with us, tell us about it. I am comfortable being wrong. I love more information. I can't be on TikTok all the time, streaming and scooting through and getting new information that way, because I get addicted to my phone and then I would neglect my children. So if you leave a comment, I will read that. Or Keeley will read that and then tell me about it.
Yep.
So disagree, let us know. We are interested. And then even more importantly, in the last episode, we talked about how Gino asked Jasmine after her beautiful vows if she was done.
Yeah.
If she had finished. Was that it? And it was just a kind of callous, weird remark that he made. And we were talking about that. And Keeley mentioned that if she had opened up her heart to her husband in that way, and he said, "Are you done?" she would gut punch him. And I think most of us understood that Keeley isn't physically abusive to Steve in reality, that she was making a joke. But as far as I'm aware, and I've been to your home and spent weeks at a time with you all, Steve is not a battered husband.
He is not.
He's not. So if anyone is concerned about Steve's well-being, we will make a video where he's holding a newspaper and letting you know that he's fine.
Yes. Please let me know. We will have him on camera. He will be okay.
Proof of life.
Proof of life. Yes. Proof of relations. You're related to him, actually. So
I am.
And he's okay. I have not physically assaulted him. It was a joke. I was trying to be funny. And
yeah, so don't take us seriously.
No.
And everything is alleged.
Yes. That's true. Very, very true. I was trying to make people laugh.
He's fine.
He's fine.
He's fine, guys. This hypothetical version of Steve who is an unemotional jerk. That one, he's in danger. But the real one is fine. Okay, so we started the first one of Last Resort, the first part of the reunion. We also got the first part of the reunion of Beverly Hills Housewives.
You betcha.
And I think, like the 90 Days Last Resort, it's going to be several parts per use.
True.
The Housewives focused mostly on Dorit, I thought.
I think so.
And Dorit kind of moving through this season and getting in the process of possibly starting her divorce with PK.
Yeah.
I have to be honest, I don't know Sutton that well. I hadn't watched for a while and I've just recently jumped back in this season. And I think the summation of Sutton attacks women when they're at their lowest, I feel like she really did come after Dorit. And Kyle talked about how Dorit has really changed and, like, is it that the fame has gotten to her? Dorit's been on this show for several years. This isn't newfound fame.
Yeah.
But I think that they're like, she's so angry. It's like, yeah, because her husband just moved out. And he's being really weird. And everything that she's built is suddenly really shaky and her future is uncertain. I think that would make sense that she would be a little bit snappy and uncomfortable. When you were listening to everyone talk about her and her changes this season, what did you think of that?
Well, two things. I think Sutton does come after the women in that group at their lowest. She absolutely went after Erica. She went after Kyle last year, and she absolutely went after Dorit this year. I agree with what Erica said in the last couple of episodes. She pretends to be a friend, and then she turns around and weaponizes what's going on in their life and uses it against them. And it's very, very sad. And I wouldn't trust Sutton in a friend group at all. Secondly, I don't think Dorit has changed. I think if Dorit is angry, I don't know that anger is the right word maybe to use. Maybe frustrated. I don't know. As a person who's gone through a divorce, yeah, that's really frustrating. It's super tense. It's super overwhelming, especially when you have kids, especially when your husband, you can see that they're changing and they're doing different things. You know, that's typical. They're going to go have their own life. They're going to go do their own thing. And it's alarming. I don't know if that's the right word. It's just jarring for the wife to see that they're having a completely different identity from the family, because typically the mother and or the wife is the one that's taking care of the children, and the father is not really doing that. And so for the mother or the wife to see the father have a completely different identity is overwhelming and jarring, like I said, for the wife to see. And so I think Dorit is not quite understanding that. You know, they have millions and millions of dollars. I didn't have that. Most people don't have that when they go through a divorce. So they have all the money in the world to be able to take care of things and do whatever they need to do. But, you know, I can relate to Dorit in the fact that she's almost still hanging on, right? She's saying, well, I don't know what we're doing, and I don't know if I want to tell the kids, and I'm not quite sure. Maybe he will come back and let's go out to dinner and we'll talk about it. And that all of those things are normal. So I think she's just really frustrated. I think she's overwhelmed. I think she's feeling anxiety. I don't think it's anger, but I don't think she's different. You know, she might be taking it out or playing it out with these friends. Of course, they're her friend group. These things are going to happen with her friends. So that's my take. That's what I think is happening with her. Obviously, I'm not in that friend group, so I don't really know. But it's very, very difficult to go through that. And I think the longer, I do know this, the longer they drag that out, the harder it is for everybody, for herself and for her kids. I do disagree that not telling your kids. I disagree with that. I think Sutton maybe said.
Yeah, I think it was Sutton said that she regrets waiting a year to tell her kids that they had filed for divorce because she wanted to make sure she was always a pillar of honesty and a place that the children could always trust in.
Yeah.
I thought that was a good point and good advice.
No, I completely agree with that. And that is one thing I do agree with Sutton. Your children need to feel like they can trust you. And I 100% feel like, even though her kids are younger, I think her son is a little bit older, and he's old enough to feel like he can't trust his mom once he finds that out. Like, what else are you not telling me when he finds this out? And I disagree. I think she should have told them immediately. These kids are resilient. These kids can bounce back immediately when they're young like this. They can come back immediately. She can surround them with the right people, the right therapists, the right resources, that they are not going to have a long period of time where they're not going to be able to handle it. Where, you know, someone like me who doesn't have millions of dollars will struggle with that and maybe need more time to have help with their kids go through all of that. So I disagree with not telling your kids, but that's just me. So, you know, she's doing what she's doing. And Kyle is a whole nother bird with her divorce. That's a whole nother thing. But they talked to Dorit with this episode. You know, her kids are younger, obviously, than Kyle's. I think it's more important to tell Dorit's children and be upfront and get this divorce over than with Kyle's situation, because they are younger, and just move on, right? The longer you linger with little kids, the harder it is for them to get over it, because there's always that carrot hanging around. Maybe dad's going to come back. And that's not fair to them. It's just not.
No. It seems like Dorit is in this situation where she's hoping that things will change with PK. I think she even said, when asked by Andy, do you want to get back together? And she said, not with how it is right now, but she still is in love with PK.
Yeah.
And I think that's weird because he's so ugly. Sorry. I mean, he stopped drinking and it didn't make him better looking. And usually that does something. I've just never liked PK. I've just always thought he was such a dick. I just feel so badly for her because it seems like she is in this limbo where she doesn't know what's going on. And then you see Erica and Sutton and Garcelle going, get a lawyer. If she doesn't have a lawyer yet, I'm stressed for her. Yeah. Because PK is not doing this. He's not going at this in a let's do this peacefully way at all.
No. And again, I know a little bit about that side of it as well. They don't fuck around with that stuff. You need to have a lawyer. I mean, look at what Jennifer Tilly said a couple episodes ago, right? She talked about maybe possibly getting $350,000, and she ended up with part of The Simpsons, which is millions and millions and millions of dollars. Yeah. That, ladies and gentlemen, is why you get an attorney. Is because you get what you are due and what you are worth, because the other side, man, women, or the other, right? They will try and not give you what you deserve, right? That's just how it works. So you go to court, you sign these documents, and you just do what you need to do. And a lot of people, they get their thoughts and feelings confused with what you need to do instead. And just because you have money, right? Like Dorit and Kyle, they still get their thoughts and feelings jumbled up in front of, I still need to have a lawyer, right? You know, and that's the problem. Erica learned that, right? She lived with a lawyer, so she knew she had to have that. I mean, aside from the criminal stuff with Erica, I think she would have known to get an attorney if they were going to divorce, if that criminal stuff was not going on. But you have to get an attorney. My divorce was basically amicable anyway, and I still did all of that. You know, you can get a default divorce, which means you don't go to court. You just sign the paperwork, you turn it in, the judge calls the case, and if you're not there, the judge signs it, and it is what's on the paperwork because nobody's there to fight it. That's a default divorce. That's how that works.
Okay.
I mean, you can do that with millions of dollars. You can do that with $10. So
yeah, I see driving around Florida, I don't know if they have this in Idaho, but there are signs in certain parts of town. You know how like people will have the little signs up for like house for rent or gutter cleaning. There's a lot that are like $99 divorces, which I don't want a divorce, but that sounds like a deal. Right?
Right. And that would probably be what they are going to charge for what's called that default divorce. You just
making sure the paperwork's in order.
Right. You sign, everybody agrees, right, to what's in the paperwork. And it's just for their time to turn it into the court, and the court signs off on it. And that's about it.
I'll tell you what, I don't plan on getting a divorce.
Of course.
But any advice that Jennifer Tilly gives, I will be following.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. There's no one on any of those shows that I have ever coveted their life as much as Jennifer Tilly. Although, how crazy is it? I really hope she's going to end up on the reunion because she's just a friend of. I hope they make her the full-blown housewife.
I know.
She is so funny. But why? She's only really Sutton's friend.
Yeah, I know.
Hopefully she watches this and goes, I mean, she's a loyal friend. I think she even kind of hints that she doesn't agree with Sutton. She's like, but I'm here as Sutton's friend.
Yeah.
So I'm going to back up my friend. It doesn't seem like she totally agreed all the time. She's kind of like cuckoo and not totally tuned in. I would watch her anyway. She's such good television.
Yeah.
But anyway, should we move on and talk about some more divorces?
Yes. Let's do it.
Possibly. Well, although not divorcing, nothing's been confirmed yet, it seems like.
I know, my goodness.
Boy with the poodles already. So we began with 90 Day Fiancé, Last Resort, The Tell-All. Sean is hosting again. Sean's the best. She is so good in these.
Yep.
She's so good at this. They do a lot of behind the scenes work. There's so much filler in this show, but they do a lot of behind the scenes. So the first people we see are Julia and Brandon. They come in matching for cheetah print coats, which was cute. Then Josh and Rob show up together because they're all in love with each other now, these dudes from 90 Day Fiancé. So what is the group now? It's Josh,
Rob.
Brandon was there, Rob, and then the guy with the mom.
Jamal.
Who dated
Jamal.
Mm-hmm. I never remember his name.
Yeah.
They're all dancing and lip syncing and trying to make a career out of these ad videos that they're doing for 90s R&B songs. It's a weird thing that I can't tap into and understand. And Sophie shows up. Sophie got her boobs done and she looks so good. Her boobs look so good.
They do look so good. She must have put some coconut oil or something all over her chest. She
was dripping in oil.
Yes.
She was so shiny.
Mm-hmm.
Matt was like, what is going on with her skin? And I was like, she's oiled up.
Yes.
She's got her boobs done. She's got to oil those puppies up.
Yep.
Good for her. They looked amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Stacey and Florian show up together. Speaking of boobs, Stacey's boobs keep coming out of her corset top, so Florian has to like rip them off. Florian looked really good.
He did. I loved his hair.
But he looked like maybe he's been going out less or something. Yeah. I don't know what's going on. He, unlike PK, he's had like a bit of a glow up recently.
I agree.
He looks good. Ari and Bini come. Bini is dressed like a magician in a full sparkle suit. Ari has more hair extensions on her head than I've ever seen anyone ever.
Yes.
Although so did Natalie.
Yes.
Natalie had a lot of hair extensions in. What was Natalie wearing?
Wow, that dress. How do you explain that dress? It was quite... I don't even know how to explain it.
80s prom?
Oh, good one.
Something between 80s prom and the Ice Capades?
Yes.
But it was black sequin, long, high neck, fitted, and then right where her butt and crotch are, that's super short mini skirt that is all a big bubble ruffle.
Yes, like a balloon. Yes, I don't know.
Yeah, it was, I wasn't expecting that. And Gino comes in. All of the men are dressed for a different event. Mm-hmm. Did you notice that? Like, none of them, like, Brand's just in, like, a whatever button-up.
Right.
And then all the way to, Gino is in his paisley suit. I think it's gray, so it was like, kind of tasteful. And then you have Rob in purple velvet and Bini in sparkle suit. Everybody was all over the place. And Jasmine wasn't there yet.
Yep. Yeah.
How'd you feel about Jasmine being late? Contrived.
Well, I think we, as an audience, all kind of knew. Did you know? I mean, being on social media for the last month, we all knew what was going to happen. And so, I mean, nobody was surprised. I mean, if we hadn't known she was pregnant, it wouldn't have been that great, but we all knew she was pregnant. So it wasn't that big of a deal, I don't think.
They'd either made her hide it, don't say anything until the show comes out, let's say hide it, / they were putting spoilers out where we watched her walk out pregnant. So the effect was completely lost. But you saw everyone on the stage react to her being pregnant. Although I think most people knew.
I was going to say, that kind of bothered me because I think the cast knew also. So why are you pretending that you're shocked? I don't know. That seemed contrived to me. I don't know. I didn't really like Sean saying, do you want to say hi to Gino? And then Jasmine saying hi, and then Sean with that snarky remark saying, oh, that's kind of chilly. I mean, I like Sean, but what purpose did that serve?
Gino was chilly.
Yeah.
Because he was like, hello. His face, when he watched her walk across, he's got a weird face as it is. And he does the little upside down mouth. And sometimes he does the upside down mouth like sad. Yeah. And he looks like a smacked puppy. Yeah. And then other times he looked genuinely terrifying.
Yeah.
With his angry face at her, the glare that he gave her. It was uncomfortable.
Yeah.
He makes reference to the fact that he has dirt, that he's hoping that Matt is going to be at the reunion because he has dirt and he's going to make Matt cry, which he said really quickly. It was right in the beginning when he was talking to Florian, I think. And then everyone walks out and she walks out and Sean was like, so Gino, I saw your face. I'm just going to ask you, are you the father of this baby? And Gino's like, no. And then she's like, so who's the father of the baby? It's Matt. Mm-hmm. And she's like, is anyone surprised to hear that? And no one's surprised to hear it. And then Gino's like, I was surprised. So I think he's going to say that she's cheating on Matt with somebody else and maybe it's somebody else's baby. I think he's trying to throw some more extra dirt into it. That's my little guess.
That's interesting. I kind of thought that maybe Matt isn't going to show up. I mean, why would he, honestly? But I don't know. I mean, other than Gino saying that, you know, the normal things that Jasmine is a whore and Jasmine is a cheater, which is boring. We've heard it 17 times. What else is he going to say? I mean, he's always said, she's planned this. She's been cheating on me behind my back. Right. We've heard you say this before. I mean, what else is he going to say? I don't know. I don't know.
Well, and he also doesn't need to say much.
Right.
Because Rob's there.
Sure.
The big part of what this show was, at least for this episode, was really two parts. It was what you're going to see on social media. Yeah. Rob losing his shit at Jasmine and Jasmine losing her pregnant shit at Rob.
Yeah.
It's explosive. Telling her that she's a whore and she's telling him that he's a clown. And then he stands up and he's screaming at her. And she stands up and I think she stood up first.
I think so, yes.
And Matt, when we were watching it, was like, it's inappropriate that he stood up back. Like, don't do that. I am certainly not here to say I am pro Jasmine in this. I think this whole thing sucks because we've been talking about Jasmine this whole time in the microcosm of them at the last resort. They are out of last resort now. Whatever happened with Gino and Jasmine, we're going to find out. We just know that she's not with Jasmine. She's not with Gino anymore, and we know that she's pregnant. So based on some social media stuff, I think she may or may not still be with Matt. Who knows?
Yeah.
But I do know that 2 kids in Panama. And we know that she said in this episode, this was an unplanned pregnancy.
Yes.
There's some shady shit happening that sucks. If you are her kid back in Panama and then she's getting pregnant in the US and she hasn't brought you there to be with her yet, there's something that just like, if I was that kid, I would feel so abandoned. If they didn't feel super abandoned already. I know that her son has a good support system with his grandmother and his dad, but still his mom isn't there. Oh, it sucks. So I'm not saying by any means that I think that Jasmine is an angel, that I agree with all of her choices. I will say, I don't think she maliciously made this plan to be with Matt long term. I think it was a weird solution to a problem that wasn't ever going to work. And all of us could see that except for her and Gino because they were too close, right? They couldn't see it clearly. I also don't think that Rob was in his right to start screaming at her and calling her a whore and baiting her. Do you have to be nicer to her because she's pregnant? Yes. Chill the fuck out. She could be a piece of shit. She's pregnant. Just let her be. It's not worth it. Yeah. It is not worth it to be the guy that called a pregnant woman a whore on national television. Come on, Rob. And then she does a worse thing, which is she takes her shoe off and throws it at him. I think she actually did it twice. Yes. And in the middle of that, all the guys are like surrounding him. There's security. They're separating everything. And Gino is so amped. Mm-hmm. He is just so excited by all of this that Rob has come to defend his honor. Mm-hmm. Gino wanted to kiss him, but he just kept patting him on the back and holding him and then going, yeah, she's a hoe. She's a hoe. Because Gino has not said that in his regular day-to-day life, but he's very excited to say hoe and make friends with these men. Rob, I think, doesn't actually give a shit about Gino. He just doesn't like Jasmine that much. Yeah. Then he comes back. She throws a shoe again. He takes her shoe and he tries to break it multiple times and he cannot. And then he asks for a lighter because he wants to set her shoe on fire. And production and security is chasing him around, trying to get a hold of him, get him to stop. He won't. Finally, he can't break the shoe, which they must be incredible shoes. But he takes him outside and chucks it on the building next door. Okay. I get that there's a lot of reasons that people would have the opinion that Jasmine sucks. I have some opinions that Jasmine sucks. Rob sucks more, right? In this, you don't have to lower yourself to do this. It's embarrassing. Jasmine says, you're going to go low. I'm not going to go high. I'm going to go all the way down to hell. And brings up that apparently Rob has been doing gay porn. And Rob brushes it off. I haven't been doing gay porn. And then he gives an explanation. I don't remember how he was explaining it. Something about his friend did it?
I wrote it.
Oh, thank God.
He has a close friend that does that online. And that close friend had a lot of followers. And so then Rob and this close friend started posting together. And so about his first 10,000 followers were all gay men because Rob was posting gay porn. That's what he said.
Was he actually, was it actual gay porn or just like modeling pictures? Kind of stuff.
I don't know. According to Jasmine, he was modeling gay pictures.
Putting sticks in his butt.
Correct.
Butt plugs in his butt. Not sticks. Sorry, I don't know why I said that.
I love that. Maybe they were sticks. So, I don't know.
He was and Jasmine also said, and I think this brings things full circle for us, she also said that he had the ugliest butthole that she has ever seen.
Right.
What constitutes good nipples? What constitutes an ugly butthole? I don't think we've actually officially come to a conclusion on either of these things.
I don't know. I mean...
What makes a cute butthole?
I don't know.
Did you watch the pillow talk of this episode? I watched some of it and then I had to turn it off because it's like I'm just rewatching the same episode with people I don't like. Kalani, who I do love, but she was watching it with Big Ed for some reason.
No.
That's who they gave us the commentary for. No. And Big Ed said that a good asshole is one that's been bleached. Like, if it's if it's ugly or not, whether or not it's bleached. And Kalani was like, I think that's just a porn thing. And he goes, I don't know, maybe it's a porn thing. And on that note, I was like, I'm going to see if I can find Rob porn.
Okay.
If there's a video of Rob putting stuff in his butt.
Okay.
I need to know for research purposes for this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I can't access porn in Florida.
I'm sorry. I don't understand.
Right. If I try to go to Pornhub, it's blocked in the state of Florida.
Huh. Interesting.
Unless I put in my personal information to prove that I'm over the age of 18.
Okay.
I don't want my personal information on Pornhub.
Thank you, Ron DeSantis. Nice.
Thanks, Ron DeSantis.
All right. Well, now your children are safe. Come on.
Now my children are safe from the porn,
You know.
But I wasn't concerned that they were going for that. I needed it for my job.
I think Big Ed is correct that a bleached butthole is probably a good-looking butthole and a waxed butthole. We cannot have hair in the butthole. It has to be waxed.
So I am not familiar. I had a friend that was a spicy dancer. And the reason that we were friends is because I would get text messages in the middle of the day that were like, what brand of bleach do you use for your butthole? And I was like, there's multiple brands. I was like, I didn't even know that was a thing. That's how I learned about butthole bleaching.
Okay.
I'm so glad that this is going to be serious. It'll probably be a chapter in this podcast.
Absolutely.
Is butthole bleaching. I just didn't know much about it. I clearly don't watch enough porn. The new worlds that are opened up to us through these shows, right?
Well, I've known about it because I've had Brazilian wax before, and that's what they do. They do the waxing on the butthole, but you can also ask for the bleaching when you're down there. I have not.
How bad does it hurt?
I have not had the bleaching, but I've had the waxing. The waxing does not hurt on the butthole at all. The vagina hurts way worse than the butthole.
See, I don't.
Telling you.
I don't think I'm ever gonna do it.
Oh, you should. It's great.
Get waxed
Yes.
down there?
Yes.
I think it's terrifying.
No, it's not. I'll go with you.
But then
I'll go with you. We'll do it together.
I don't know.
We'll do it
Can
together.
you take like pain meds first?
Sure. You can take a Tylenol.
I think that's scary. Well, then what happens when it grows back? Do you how do you make sure you don't get like ingrown hairs or something? If I get my eyebrows waxed, I don't do my eyebrows because if I pluck or get those waxed, I break out.
No, you don't. They put this special, they have like it's kind of like a micellar water. But it has special medicine in it that they put on there.
Mm-hmm. How long does it take to get it done?
I don't know, 10 minutes, 5 minutes. It's very quick.
Okay. And how long does it hurt after you get it done?
Oh, I don't know. Another 5 or 10 minutes. It doesn't last very long at all.
Really?
Yeah. It's very quick.
And then how long are you like a dolphin for?
Oh man. I don't know. You go back every once a month, 6 weeks, something like that.
I don't know. It scares me. I am Elisa Rinna. Harry Hamlin likes a full bush.
Oh God, honey, come on. We need to, we need to, I've said this before. We need to be able to see through it. Come on.
There's grooming.
Okay.
There's grooming.
Okay, good.
There's trimming.
Okay, good.
But I will not.
You don't need an airstrip. You don't need to go that low. We don't need to do that.
Itchy.
It's not itchy.
I don't want to be like.
You don't get to that part where it's itchy. We don't get that far.
Okay, let's get really down into it.
Okay.
And we can cut this out. Do they go between the lips?
No.
Like, do they spread the lips?
No. No, they don't do that.
There's some hair in there. Is there not supposed to be hair in there?
They don't do that.
Vagina...
They don't do that.
So it's just on the outside of the lips.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I don't do the full. I've done that once and it was very uncomfortable for me and I didn't like that. I did the landing strip and I didn't like that either. That was uncomfortable for me.
So you keep like a little fluff on top.
I do the triangle. Oh. Yeah.
Right.
That's what I like. And the butthole. I like the butthole. Mm-hmm.
It's the butthole part.
I love the butthole.
Like the butthole sounds, if it doesn't hurt.
It doesn't.
Like, can you go in and be like, just do the butthole?
Yeah.
That's probably a thing dudes do. Do dudes go in and get
I don't know. I would think.
there was a video that popped up on my Instagram, and it's these guys that were, one of the guys is from the Try Guys, if you're familiar with them, and they like sing songs, and they're like a comedian song group. It's 3 dudes, and one of the songs was about how gay men have the same butts as straight men. So if some gay guys like it in the butt, then probably some straight men would too, and maybe more straight men should try it.
Oh, yeah.
So
I've heard that.
I just don't know how many women are really interested in exploring that with them.
I hear you. I get
like,
that.
Because the idea being like, I mean, if that's something you really want, but then the women would be making this face. Like, if you really want that, I guess we could try it out. Like, I don't think, and I think that would immediately go, well, then I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Because if you aren't looking for enthusiastic consent, then you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I hope my dad doesn't listen to this episode.
Well, I think going around and squeezing the butt cheeks, right? But we're not putting it in. We don't have the thumb anywhere near it. It's not in it, but you're squeezing the butt cheeks. I think anywhere on the ass is fine. If a man is fine touching his ass, right? I'm touching your ass. That is not, inherently, that means you're gay. I don't think so. Right?
No.
Right.
No, it's a butt.
It's a butt. Right? We're good.
Gay men and straight men both have butts.
We're good.
It's just whether or not you like
it.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
It doesn't have anything to do with your sexuality. It's simply where your pleasure zones are.
I agree.
All right.
Off the rails. Off. We got to go back.
We got to go back. So, I mean, let's go back to the show. Anyway, I think they finally decide. Sean tries to, after everyone's had their freak out.
Yes.
They had to have a talking to with Jasmine to say no more throwing shoes.
Yes.
We will give you your shoes back. We got it off the roof, but you're not allowed to throw your shoes anymore.
Yep.
She's like, okay, I promise not to throw my shoes. And Sean scolds everyone and is like, we are not going to cross the line with our language. We can disagree, but we will disagree respectfully. Yeah. Which is silly because that is not the point of why I'm watching. Just to throw that out there. Although I am 100%, both of them are wrong, but Rob is ridiculous for going as low as he did. Yeah. Being as reactive and being as over the top. Jasmine didn't cheat on Rob. Chill the fuck out, Rob. Let Gino fight this battle. Yeah. Gino's going to stick his tongue in Rob's ear. He's so in love with him right now. It's so gross. Yep. Oh, and the other couples that we really talked about this episode are going to be Julia and Brandon. They asked Brandon, how do you feel about where you're at now after the show? And he said, I feel like we went through that therapy. It was really successful. I'm very happy with that. Then we get home and we had both made these commitments to each other. And it really seems like Julia has decided that her wants and requests in this are more important than what mine have been. What I need from her is less important than what she needs from me. And Julia's like, yeah, no regrets. It's like, oh, I was a little taken aback. I was a little disappointed to hear that from Julia. She said things are getting better, but they're not perfect. And that she, as far as her parents coming to the U.S., her parents are now in Serbia. And she flew there to help them get all their paperwork in order and get this process going. So that is definitely moving forward. Yeah. He's clearly upset.
Well, and
she's like, it's all going great.
If she's flying to Serbia and taking care of her parents, and he says, I feel like she's putting off getting a second opinion, maybe he feels like she's putting off getting a second opinion because she's flying to Serbia. Don't you think that takes time? And she's spending time however long she was with her family. I don't know what the timeline was. The filming, we're at the last resort, right? Did all of these between the sheets. Now we're on the tell-all. I don't know what the timeline was. Was it a year? Was it a 6 months? I don't know. But that's the first thing I thought of was if she was in Serbia, how is she going to have time to go have a second opinion? Yes, granted, It could be an hour doctor appointment. But if she can't get in, think about it. It's an OBGYN fertility specialist doctor appointment. Some of those you can't get in for months and months at a time.
On top of the fact, they're in bumfuck nowhere.
Right.
So it's not like they have one down the street.
Right.
Right?
Right.
The doctor that's in town is probably not a fertility specialist that's going to be able to
right.
do all these tests.
So if it's a second opinion, maybe it's not in Virginia, maybe it's in a different state or a different city from where they live. That's what I was thinking. I don't know. Maybe that's why she was so salty saying, I don't regret it because now I'm taking care of what I want to do. So that's what I was thinking. He's used to getting his way for the last, however many years they've been married. And then what do? We have full circle of his goddamn parents showing up. I mean, can we not get away from these people? Why are they here? We're just pouring salt in the wound. We just have to have them around constantly. They show up. And what do we watch? The first thing we watch is the clip of Julia dancing on the bar top. And we ask Ron and Betty, the parents, well, what do you think about what you've just watched? My God, do we have to go over this?
All over again. And they said, because what happened in that episode when Julia was dancing on the bar, the next day, he's like, what were you wearing? You look like a whore. You're dressed like a whore. He said that that's his one regret. In the Between the Sheets, Julia had mentioned he never apologized to me for that. And they said, do you want to apologize to your wife for calling her a whore? And he was like, oh, blah, blah, and does a very bad job of apologizing. And everyone's like, start over, try that again. And then they're like, what do you think, Ron and Betty? And they're like, don't you think maybe she owes him an apology for dancing on the bar? There are limits. I thought this was an interesting debate because I think that there's obviously culturally, and I'm not saying this like Russia, Dinwiddie, Virginia. I'm just saying maybe generationally as well, where the mom, Betty's hammering home, there's limits. When you're a married woman, that's not how you behave. And Julia was like, I'm not running around fucking guys. She didn't say that, but she was like, I'm dancing. I'm dancing at a bar. I have one life to live. I'm there with my husband. I should get to dance on a bar if that's what I want to do. I'm not doing anything wrong. The mom's like, that's the problem. That's the problem with her right there. And you're like, Jesus Christ, Betty.
Yeah.
Betty is just a snarly, she clearly hates Julia.
Yeah.
She does not like Julia at all.
Yeah.
It was just kind of gross to watch. And Brandon doesn't see it. And these parents don't see the problem at all. That enmeshment there is just such a turnoff. I don't know why Julia puts up with it.
Can you imagine a baby in the middle of that and that mother saying, oh, I'll just take care of the baby. Oh, this is my grandbaby. Oh, right? And having her opinion be the best opinion in that house. Oh, this is my granddaughter or my grandson. Oh, I'll just, you need to do this for that child. This is how you do X, Y, and Z. That is what I see happening. And no wonder Julia does not want to have a baby because that woman would tell her how to do that, how to parent, how to do everything. And there is no way Julia wants to put up with that crap. I mean, you and I are both parents that we don't want someone telling us how to raise our kids, coming in and saying, oh, you're doing it wrong. Oh, that's not how you discipline. Oh, they didn't do anything wrong. Why are you disciplining them? Oh, that's not how you change a diaper. Oh, well, they're crying. Just leave them there. Just let them cry. No. Oh my God.
I can 100% see Julia being undermined every step of the way. Yep. And Brandon is going to be like, I don't want to hurt my mom's feelings. She's a mom. She knows. She raised me. And look how great it turned out. She knows. She knows better than you.
Gross.
I think that is so icky. There are whole Reddit groups. There are whole Facebook support groups. It is a trope for a reason. Betty is the poster child of the mother-in-law who refuses to respect boundaries and who thinks that she is in charge of making all of the decisions for this couple that she's not in that marriage, but she feels like she's another person who gets a vote in that. And that doesn't work. She is pushing Julia. She's creating that wedge between Julia and Brandon. So if she wants her son to have a good marriage, she needs to back off. If they ask for support, if they ask for guidance, give it. Otherwise, back the fuck off. But she's not going to. And Brandon's never going to tell her to.
Nope.
Because they reamed into her at the tell-all. Yep. And Brandon just sat there with his arms crossed and agreed with them.
Yeah, of course.
Again, not choosing sides here overall between Brandon and Julia. I get why Julia's not racing to go start making babies. Yeah. I wonder if they're having sex, though.
Yeah. Maybe. No.
We haven't found out.
Yeah.
Something Brandon said also in that moment where he was like, your vagina was out. And everyone's like, her vagina was not out. She was wearing nude underwear. Nothing flopped out. And then he will not let that go. And then he's like, should I have told her to whip her tits out too? His mom was right there. Why are you saying that in front of your parents?
Yeah.
So anyway, never mind. I think I'm actually on Julia's side.
Yeah. He clearly can't leave that alone.
And I came into that not on Julia's side. Now I think I am. So leave your comments below on what you think. Rob comes in hot in all of this, obviously. But we end up finding out that Rob and Sophie have been in touch since everything stopped. And first they went no contact for a couple months. And then for some reason they emailed or something. And that quickly led to their having sex again.
And the entire cast went like this, just face slapped to the forehead. Everybody shook their head side to side like, what the fuck are you doing? What are you doing?
And I'm honestly more irritated at Sophie than I am at Rob.
Yep.
And I know, like, she just literally doesn't know any better, but I was like, you just did so good.
Yep.
You did so good. And then you just backslid. It's like, well, I got these new boobies.
Yep.
And I want to show them off. Apparently, she whipped him out at the reunion so he could see them. So actually, she got the new boobies after they had sex, I guess. But he got to see them, and he was like, I wish I could have touched them. It's like, and she was like touching him and being sweet, and he's like, look at all these mixed signals. And at first, this is before we knew that they were having sex, I was like, she's just being nice to you. And then you find out that they've been sleeping together, and I was like, okay, maybe there are some mixed signals there.
I can't wait for the therapist to come on the tell-all and for them to talk to them about having sex and getting back together. Like you said, Sophie, you did so good. Now you guys are back together having sex. What are you doing? What is going on? That is so not healthy. I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
I don't know. It's slipping into those old patterns and just like, you need a clean break. If you're done, you're done. Be done.
So we got that little tidbit from them. And while they were talking, Josh opened his fat mouth and said, well, yeah, Natalie and I are having sex too. And Natalie said, that's a lie. It's just pity sex.
Right.
It's not the same as Rob and Sophie because Rob actually loved Sophie and Josh never loved me. Well, I mean, she's not wrong, right? So
it would follow Gino's rules of being okay.
Right.
So gross. I was disappointed. I was like, Natalie, come on. And we already know that in the sneak peeks that he's going to be bringing in his new girlfriend. Less than an hour after he tells everyone in the world. But we've had sex multiple times. We've had sex multiple times.
Like.
So he doesn't respect his new girlfriend either. It seems like the only people that are really respecting their breakup are Ari and Bini.
Yes.
I did think it was funny, though. It was very cutting because Ari and Bini were talking about how they're just trying to keep things very civil. Things have been all right. They're doing their co-parenting. They haven't officially divorced, but they are splitting amicably. I can say that word. Someone made a joke about open relationships.
Yeah.
You're not officially broken up. Are you guys just in an open relationship? Is that what's going on? And she goes, well, Bini always thought that this was an open relationship. So she had started off the day saying, I just want to keep things as good as possible. I don't want to rock the boat at all with Bini because we're doing really well with our co-parenting. And then she can't keep it in. Like,
yeah.
It was never, he never considered it not an open marriage. Like, oh shit. It's going to be fun to watch her kind of say all those things. And Bini also says that basically they said that they're over.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't need paperwork to say that they're over. He's already decided that it's done. He's like, it's over.
I don't understand these couples that do that. We've decided it's over, but we don't need a divorce and we don't need paperwork. I don't get that. What is that? What purpose is that? What does it serve? I don't understand.
It's got to help somebody out financially in some way,
I guess.
Right?
Yeah.
That's all I can think of.
I guess.
There's got to be some reason to not file.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't been divorced. I know it took my parents a long time to file their paperwork. I mean, like a few years, I think. I think Dad was like,
I don't know,
had bought a house with his fiance before paperwork was filed. I don't understand the finances of it. That's my assumption, is that Bini doesn't want paperwork filed because he doesn't want to have to officially be responsible for things.
Oh, maybe it has something to do with his visa. Is that it?
Oh, maybe.
I don't know.
And I genuinely think, although Ari wants people to validate her and being like, Bini was a piece of shit and he did bad things and he clearly cheated on you. I think she wants that, but I don't think she actually wants bad things for Bini.
Yeah, that's true.
I think she wants him to do well. Yeah. I think she wants a good life for him. She just wants someone to be like, you are right.
Yeah.
Fucking Bini.
Yeah.
That wasn't okay that he did that. Like, she needs to hear that more.
Yeah, I think she might hear a little bit of that just from a couple of the clips where they go back to Bini dancing with all the women and some of the men not liking that.
Florian losing his shit about it. Oh.
Yeah, that'll be good.
So that'll be fun to watch.
Yeah.
Looks like we might have a couple more fist fights.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, we can only hope.
I guess the only other people that we haven't talked about are Stacey and Florian, which Darcy's going to show up. Stacey looks good. Florian looks good. They split the men and women up. So they have all the men on one side and they have the women on the other, which is uncomfortable because I think it just puts everyone back into this very adversarial mindset. Yeah. And so Stacey's like, well, at first it was great. And now we are back and we're slipping into our old ways, which is a bummer to hear. I hadn't seen Darcy's husband, Georgie, before.
Oh, okay.
So Georgie coming out, I think is fun.
Yeah.
Georgie's going to come talk some shit about Florian, yes. But Darcy looks like the lion lady. The lady that got so much work done, she ended up looking like a lion. Yes. She was like an heiress or something.
Yes.
She's 2 years away from being that woman. Yeah. It's so pulled back and so plumped up and so exaggerated.
Yeah.
But to each their own, if that's what you want to do. Yeah. I don't know what I'm hoping for at this point. I honestly think if we could just have an episode where they have the therapist come out, hear the updates, and go, you know what, I'm not your therapist anymore. Here's my advice. Yeah. Because apparently they can't give advice. I just want the therapist to give advice. The only one who's telling people what to do and what not to do is Rob. And Rob is not the person who should get to do this in his purple velvet suit.
Rob is comical to me. I laughed the entire time watching this small-minded, insecure man yell at a pregnant woman. That's what I watched. He is just so little. I just can't with him. He's so triggered by Jasmine that he has nowhere else to go but down, and it is comical to me. I mean, she should have sat there and laughed at him. That would have pissed him off even more. But I get it, right? I get her reaction.
I mean, both of these people are so reactive. Yeah. They're so emotionally immature. Yeah. They're so putting their energy in the wrong place, right? It was exhausting to watch, honestly. didn't need that. And that was the highlight of the episode as far as like the production was trying to do. I don't know. Need that.
I really wish I could have called like Bob the Builder in to help him try and break that shoe. That was the funniest thing I have ever seen. I really want to know the brand of those shoes, man. It was just amazing.
Who makes those shoes? They were the most bedazzled heels. How is she walking? They were like 4-inch stiletto heels. Yeah. And she's walking around in them pregnant.
And he smacked him a good 4 or 5 times. And
he was trying to rip the heel off the shoe and he couldn't, and he kept bending over to try and get more leverage and he couldn't do it. How far along do we think Jasmine is? I've seen some of the debates online. Some people were like, could she have been pregnant at the resort? I think that's already been debunked. There's no way she was pregnant at the resort. No. Could she have been pregnant while they were filming Between the Sheets? Maybe. But this is her 3rd kid, and don't you show more like faster in like, as you get through pregnancy?
Yeah. And again, I don't know the timeline, right? Like I don't know. I mean, she looks a good 6 months, right? A good 6 months along. She does. I don't think she was pregnant in Between the Sheets. That's just my opinion, but I don't know.
But she's also not going to say.
Of course. Yeah. She doesn't
owe
anybody anything. So.
Well, and I think legally, if this gets brought up in the divorce with Gino, I think you keep your mouth shut. Yeah. I wouldn't be putting that out there if I had done this. Like, you keep your mouth shut. But we're all going to wonder. We're all questioning.
Well, obviously it's going to come out when she has the baby. Everybody can go minus 9 months. We can do math. Yeah. So.
Right. Exactly. So, but Gino, again, my theory is in the next episode, or I think there's going to be 3. I think that Gino is going to accuse her of cheating on Matt as well.
But do we care? Who cares? Do we care as an audience if she cheats on a boyfriend? Why would we care? I don't get that.
I think it's just Gino trying to feel validated. Yeah. Which is, this whole thing sucks. I mean, it sucks for everyone. Gino sucks. Jasmine sucks. Stacey sucks. Florian sucks. Brandon sucks. Did I already say those ones?
Julia. Yeah.
Definitely Rob. Yeah. Sophie sucks because she's having sex with Rob. And Ari, I don't think that Ari sucks, actually.
I don't think so.
Which is crazy because I really hated Ari.
I know you did. I know.
I'm here to have my mind changed.
Yeah. I just hope this thing isn't boring. I don't want this tell-all to be boring.
We are going to figure out another thing to talk about along with this.
Yes.
Because it's just not enough.
Yeah.
It's not enough.
45 minutes, I think.
Yeah, it was 45 minutes. Half of it was filler. Did you notice that more than once Stacey kept going, sad? And they used it, that reaction of her going, sad. They used it more than once. At least split it up between episodes.
Oh, I know. Come on.
Don't put it 15 minutes from each other. So I thought that was fun. But we'll figure it out and we'll let everybody know what else we're going to talk about as we wait for the Valley. Did you see? We're so close. Did you see the interview with Jax? I don't remember. We might have sent it to each other. Jax did an interview with, I think, E, where he was like, I don't believe in talking badly publicly about your significant other.
Yes.
And then he goes into talking so much shit about Brittany. Here's the worst part. He starts saying, Brittany says that it was so bad for so long. Yeah, because we literally all watched how bad it was since the very beginning. And he's like, so bad for so long. How come you didn't ask us to go to therapy? How come you weren't trying to work on things with me? And it's like, we literally watched her do that last season. He's done so much cocaine that he cannot remember what he literally has filmed himself doing. He's like, why did she want to have another baby with me? It's like, because she was trying to make it work. And because her clock is ticking.
Because you're a dumbass.
They make cute babies, so she's like, we should do this again before my time's up. Why didn't she leave? We do not say that.
Okay.
It's 2025. We do not ask why the woman didn't leave sooner. But apparently Jax did not get that memo.
He didn't get a lot of memos.
I am so hoping to watch this and just watch him get his shit handed to him. It's going to be great. I want to watch his life fall apart.
Yes.
I'm rewatching Vanderpump Rules. I think we're on season 2 or 3 right now. And it's when they go to Lake Arrowhead and he's having to do his apology tour with her family. And it is so uncomfortable. But then you watch her go, he got his name tattooed on the inside of his arm. And you're like, don't let that soften you. Like, why are you... Don't fall for
Don't
this.
do that.
But she's like 22 or something.
He also has
So
Stacey and Carmen
yeah.
on there too. Oh, we forgot.
Did he ever get Brittany tattooed on there?
I don't remember.
I have a matching tattoo with Matt.
I think you and I should get matching tattoos. I told that to Steve.
I would get it. I love a matching tattoo. I have a matching tattoo with Matt. We both have arrows getting shot into our knee, and I have very elegant blood spurting out of the top of my knee and the arrow going in. It's a euphemism for marriage. It's because I used to be an adventurer until I took an arrow to the knee. It's from a video game.
Okay.
It means like then I got married, so now I'm not an adventurer.
Okay.
Anymore. Marriage is like taking an arrow to the knee. And then I have a matching tattoo with my stepsister where we both have the ears of our pets that have brain damage on the back of our elbows. What would we get? What would you
I
and
told
get?
Steve that we were going to get the Infinity Natalie, the snake eating itself. That's what we should get together.
An Ouroboros.
Yes.
Oh, I actually love that. I've actually thought about that before.
Yeah. I told him that you and I were going to get that. And he was like, really? And I said, well, I just haven't told Jen that.
No, I fucking love that. Ooh. Yep. Let's do it. Okay. So Keeley and I are getting tattoos and our buttholes waxed together, everyone.
Okay.
We're very close.
Yes.
Thank God we're as far apart as we are. We would be absolute menaces. If we were together all the time.
Okay.
All right. Well, on that note, everyone, please discuss who you think is right and wrong in all of the couples in the comments. Who is right and wrong? Keeley and I. What are your opinions? And what constitutes a good-looking butthole?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we'll see you next week.
Yep. See you next week. Bye.
Bye-bye.